Welcome back. This is Chris with Sanderson Test Prep, and we are continuing with SAT Test 1, Section 3, numbers 11 and 12. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at question 11. They give us two equations, b equals 2.35 plus 0.25x, and c equals 1.75 plus 0.40x. In the equations above, b and c represent the price per pound in dollars of beef and chicken, respectively. X weeks after July 1st during last summer. What was the price per pound of beef when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken? All right, so let's take a look there, because obviously this is our key to the question. It says equal to. So if they're asking about the price per pound when these two are equal to one another, what we want to do is set these two expressions equal. And so we're going to set the expression for beef. They're basically saying that b equals c, and if we plug in their corresponding expressions to solve, that would be 2.35 plus 0.25x equals 1.75 plus 0.4x. Now, if you're really comfortable working with decimals, you should go ahead and dive right in and start combining like terms. But if you look at this and feel a little overwhelmed by the decimals that you see in front of you, you can always clear your decimals, meaning you can always multiply the entire equation by a 1 followed by however many zeros you would need in order to get rid of those decimals. So in this case, there are two decimal places, so you would multiply by 100, a 1 followed by 2 zeros to account for those two decimal places. And so when we do that here, if you multiply the entire thing times 100, it'll allow us to get rid of all of those decimals. It'll give us, albeit large numbers, but they are whole numbers, so it's maybe a little bit easier for us to work with. We would have 235 plus 25x equals 175 plus 40x. And for a lot of people, that's just easier to manage because you don't have to track decimal places. It makes for easier math. So here you can subtract 25x from both sides and subtract 175 from both sides, and that would give you 60 on the left, and that would be equal to 15x on the right. And to solve for x from here, you divide both sides by 15 and you would get x equals 4. And if we look at our answer choices, we don't see something that says 4. So let's make sure that we're actually answering the question being asked. What was the price per pound of beef when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken? So we actually have to solve for the price. We do know that x equals 4, but we're going to have to go way back up here and plug it into either one of these equations, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. I like the first one because I'm comfortable doing 0.25 times 4. That's basically saying 4 quarters, which is $1. So I would work with that one. That would be my personal preference on this. So if we plug in a 4 for x here, we would get 235 plus 0.25 times 4, which, as we said, would be 1.0. So you would get 2.35 plus 1, which is 3.35. And that would actually be our price per pound of beef. And if you had solved for the chicken equation, you would have gotten the same answer because they are equal to one another. So that's it for number 11 on this. Let's take a look ahead at number 12. A line in the xy plane passes through the origin and has a slope of 1/7. Okay, so let's do a ballpark of this line. Passes through the origin, and a slope of 1/7. Anything less than 1 is going to be not very steep. It's helpful to know that a slope of 1 will be right in between your x and y axes. So here, if it's got a slope of 1/7, it'll be a little shallower than that. So it'll maybe go something like this for our line. And again, this is just a ballpark so that we can get a basic idea of what we're looking for. So which of the following points lies on the line? Well, we might say to ourselves, okay, I don't think it's going to be 0, 7, because that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. and right on this y-axis. So that seems like maybe A we could eliminate just visually without having to plug anything in or test it out. So for this, if it has a slope of 1/7, remember that this is your rise, or your change in y, over your run, or your change in x. So here, if y increases by 1 as x increases by 7, that means that we should have a y value that is going to be much smaller than our x value. So when we look at our coordinates with our x comma y's, even without doing exact math, we know that we should have something that has a big number here and then a small number here, because that ratio of 1 to 7 is going to hold up for the entire line. So that means that your y value is always going to be 1/7 of your x value, or your x value is going to be 7 times your y value. So basically what we're looking for in a correct answer is a big X and a small y. And what we see here is answer choice D seems to match that relationship. And with this nice shallow line that we have here, basically what happens is if you go over 14 units, you only go up 2 units for that shallow line, and that gives us that same ratio and that same relationship of a slope of 1/7, 1 for our rise for every 7 for our run for the change in x. For more, please check out our other videos as we finish up the multiple choice in this non-calculator math section.